It's come down to one final battle. It's you and your katana against waves of Yakuza. You know you're not going to make it out of here alive, but by God you're going to make them suffer and take as many of them with you as possible. This is the slasher cyberpunk futuristic setting of Akane, clearly inspired by the likes of Kill Bill, Akira and Blade Runner. Is this game any good? I'm James Demero and this is SwitchWatch. Let's jump in and find out. It doesn't get any simpler than this. You play as a samurai warrior in a top-down setting and kill enemies with a single slash of your katana, with a couple of exceptions, more on that a bit later. The catch is if you get hit once, you also die. A simple slasher like this is dependent on its controls and enemies' AI. Thankfully the controls are nice and tight. You use the left stick to move around, L makes you dash and A is to slash. Holding down B will temporarily guard against attacks and holding down ZL pulls out your gun, which is aimed with the right stick. Whilst these controls are simple, you will die a lot. It's an unforgiving title. One of the most interesting elements is the subtle cooldown mechanic. When you slash your katana, it draws down your stamina bar, which slowly recovers. If it reaches 0, you won't be able to slash for a moment, leaving you likely to get killed. Similarly, your gun has a finite number of bullets that run out. These mechanics are intertwined. When you slash, it reloads your gun, and when you kill with your gun, it lets your sword stamina replenish. And this mechanic serves two purposes. Firstly, to stop mindless slashing from working, and secondly, to force you to mix up your attacks. When you start to get the hang of combat, it falls into a rhythm, slash, slash, dash, shoot. It feels great when you get into this groove, and that's what this game is intended to do. The enemies you face come at you, mostly directly, but some will try and flank you or behave a little differently to keep you on your toes. There are only 5 types of enemies here. You've got Yakuza pawns who come at you with a samurai sword, tanks who take a few hits to kill, shooter guys with a gun, cyber ninjas who dash at you and slice you up if they hit you, and the boss Katsuro. The pattern of play is killing 100 enemies in waves, then facing Katsuro. This is repeated and each wave is tougher. Each time you fight Katsuro, he's a little bit harder to beat. Whilst the setting alludes to these stories that inspired it, nothing is really made of it. There is no fancy backstory here. You know you are a trained samurai and are really pissed off the Yakuza making your last stand in this square, but that's the start and end of the tale, which is a little bit of a miss. The fights with Katsuro could have, for example, been brought out some of the story elements. Your primary goal is a simple yet fun one, really. You're just out to last as long as you can and kill a higher number of enemies than you have previously, getting the best run that you possibly can. You have a number of equipment slots that you can unlock new items for within a run. These are generally linked to the primary goal of killing more enemies, but you also have interesting ones like having 100% accuracy in a run, killing enemies in a certain way, and more. You can unlock boots that give you new dash abilities. You can get a longer dash, for example. You can also equip new weapons. My personal favourite is the shotgun that spreads bullets, hitting multiple enemies but has less overall ammo capacity. You can unlock items that give you a small but noticeable buff, and as a badass warrior, Akane is always smoking, and you can find new cigarettes for her that give a slightly different trail and colour to the destruction that you leave behind in your wake. With your katana, you have a chargeable bar with 3 segments. Once you have one segment, you can unleash a powerful dash that takes a bit of getting used to, but it's awesome when you get the hang of it. It kills everything in a vertical line. You wait and unleash all 3 bars, then you have a super powerful version that you can pretty much use to kill all enemies on screen in one go. It's one of those things that can help you get out of really tricky situations. You can unlock additional katanas with chargeable moves. Holding A unleashes these. With one, you do a really awesome circular attack that reminds me of Link's attack in old Zeldas, and with the other you throw your weapon in a straight line and have to go and collect it in order to pick it back up. These unlockables are the thing that kept me wanting to play. The biggest miss for me though is the lack of leaderboards. I felt that this is a really big shame, considering you play the whole game in one map, and when all is said and done, really there are only 5 mobs. It's hard to find the drive to beat yourself, and I just think I would have been much more interested in trying to beat my fellow SwitchWatch colleagues and other people to try and get better scores. There are some really enjoyable factors to this game. I really liked, for example, the gunman and the fact that they come up with a little target just before they shoot, giving you the option to either dash away and defend yourself by holding B, or to try and quickly kill it. Inevitably, sometimes you don't get it quite right and die. Similarly, the Cyberpunks have a charge up before they dash at you, and there's nothing you can do to kill them when they're in this mode, so you need to dodge, get into a spot where you can kill them once they cool down. But of course, this is all happening with loads and loads of enemies coming at you at the same time, and it's all about that split-second thinking. So attacks and battles are far from mindless, but the ability to either play against or other friends online and try and beat their score would really have made a difference for me. Sybase from Brazil produced 10 tracks for this game, and they are a real highlight. Each track is futuristic with breakbeat, drum and bass and other digital influences. They are all glitchy, moody synth tracks that hold the game together perfectly. Similarly, the art style is one I really like. It could be Neo Tokyo from Akira with neon lights and cyberpunk futuristic samurai warriors. The movement is great, and as simple as the low fidelity graphics are, they work well here. I would have preferred more variants of enemies, and it would have been nice to have multiple settings. For example, different bosses would have really been welcome. Generally, performance is good, but you do notice some slowdown when there are a lot of enemies on the pitch at once, which is a shame. This happens every time, so it's not as if you're going to find this every now and then. On the move, the game runs identically as it does when docked. Coming in at $4.99 in the US and £4.49 in the UK, you need to put it into perspective. It's a game that has gaps and it won't keep you engaged for very long, but then again, it's the price of a couple of cups of coffee. All in all, this is a game with a really cool vibe, good sound and visuals with tight gameplay. It's a simple slasher with some interesting mechanics, but it feels a bit like a game that is not fully developed, with a small number of mobs, no leaderboards, a few glitches and one environment to play over and over again. Overall then, for me, it's a 6 out of 10, a fun experience but lacking some depth. Doing this review made me think of another game that we've recently done. Juan reviewed Katana Zero. It's another slasher, but it's quite a different take on the genre. I really enjoyed that one, played it with him for a little bit. He gave it a surprisingly good score, so why not check that one out if you're looking for something similar. Pop us a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think the best one/mechanic game is out there. I'm James Romero, and this is SwitchWatch. Hopefully I'll see you again. Take care.